Hey guys, I'm so excited. Right now I'm in Laguna and Justine and I are going to be going to the Rivian event where they're going to be announcing the all-new R2. I've already got my credentials, so let's go inside and let's see what happens. The event is about to start any minute. I'm so excited. Let's go.
With R1, of course, this should be very relatable, but this is great for putting luggage, backpacks, your gear. It's one of the most used storage areas for R1 vehicle. We get to see the data on how all of our runners are using it. We have a lot of feedback from R1, and one of the points of feedback was a desire for a glove box. We have lots of It's a much larger cell than the 21 millimeter diameter cell that we have in R1 today. All-wheel drive variant. And then we have a tri-motor, 2 motors in the back, 1 in the front. And this has 11 cameras, 5 radars, 4 radars in the corner, 1 long-range radar in the front.
What?
But as tidy as it is on dimensions on the outside, we put so much effort into making sure that the inside feels big. You can actually go to multiple heights. So if you're carrying something that's longer, that could be a surfboard, that could be stuffed animals, it could be a trombone. You can adjust the height here, and it's a user setting to make it really easy to carry those bigger objects or bigger things around. Feels so uniquely Rivian, but also so unique to this vehicle and to the performance variant.
All right, so right now I actually have the chance to take a walk around the R2, the R3, and the R3X. So let's check out the all-new R2. So pretty similar to the R1S, it has a pretty decent amount of storage in the frunk. And I'm not allowed to touch anything, but I'm pretty sure that this also does lift up, so you probably are able to store some more stuff underneath. Not exactly sure, because I'm not allowed to touch it, but it looks like it. Now on the R1S, the charge port is in the front, but now it has actually been moved to the back opposite side. So they said that if you were to pull in like you would to charge the R1S, now you kind of would just be backing in and it would be in the same spot. So what's really cool about the R2 is that these actually pop out. So in the R1S, the only thing you can really do is put the front and back windows down, but now you can put the back windows and have those open, which is pretty cool. You still have the USB-C charging back here, which is nice, and there's also no screen in the back, whereas in the R1S there is a screen, but now there isn't. So in the R1S, it has kind of like a dual thing that will open, so it has like a little latch that comes down. So here we just have this that opens completely, and now to make up for the fact that you wouldn't have anything to sit on, they have this little table type of thing that comes out. You can put some storage underneath, you can sit, and it's really great because now on the R2, this window will open. The displays are also smaller on the R2, and we have a newly designed wheel where we have 2 scroll wheels and haptic feedback. We now have 2 glove compartments, so the R1S doesn't have any, but we now are going to have 2 glove compartments, so that one opens and that one will open as well. Another thing this is able to do is that you can actually fold forward the front seats so that if you're camping, this can all go completely flat. And to do that, you do have to take off the headrest. So that is a new feature in the R2. So as you can see, holding it down, and this will obviously do the same. The steering wheel will go all the way forward, and then you're able to have this be completely flat, which is pretty cool. There's also camp mode on this vehicle where it kind of has a nice red display, so it's not too harsh on your eyes if you are camping inside. So in order to make the R2 a little bit more consumer and cost friendly, they obviously had to make a few cuts with things. I asked if the speaker was still going to be there, and the speaker is not going to be there, but honestly that makes sense. Another thing I noticed was that there's obviously no screen in the back, and another thing is that there's obviously only 5 seats, whereas the R1S has 7 seats. Honestly, when I was going to originally originally order the R1S, I was only gonna get 5 seats, and then they changed it so that it was actually only 7. So now the fact that there's a different option, and if you do want to only have 5 seats, the R2 is a great choice. Okay, so obviously the R2 was what I was the most excited about because that was all I knew until they were like, hey, surprise, there's an R3 and an R3X. Okay, not gonna lie, when they first brought out the R3, I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then the R3X, and I was like, huh, that's interesting too. But now that I'm close up and looking at it, I'm kind of into it. The seats are really cool. Not a car, not a crossover, not an SUV. It's an R3, so it's kind of like its own thing. And I am really into the R3X. It's got like this like rally vibe, and it's really cool. So taking a little break from the R2, R3 excitement, and we're gonna have a little lunch. Jacine's here.
Hello.
Okay, there she is. And then we actually are gonna have the chance to sit down and interview RJ, which I feel like is going to be huge. We're gonna work on our questions, Jacine.
We do.
All right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna eat, work on our questions, and then we're gonna go meet and interview RJ. Wow, it's literally dripping onto the table. Right now we're in this cool little spot above where the Rivian store is. It's like a little apartment, and this is where the interview is happening, and we're setting up. We don't have much time. RJ, it is so nice to meet you and be here. You know, I've had my R1S since last May. Huge fan, sold her R1T, and today, huge announcements. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for being here. We're really excited to talk to you both.
So you kind of surprised us today because we thought this was going to be all about the R2, which yes, it is. You also had the R3 and then the R3X, and it was an incredible event. I mean, you had one more thing, and then you're like, oh, just kidding, one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing. Yeah, the R2, it's not just a vehicle; it's also a platform. As we were developing R2 and R3 as concepts, we had a lot of debate early on whether R3 should come first, and the reason for that is, as a company, Rivian represents so much more than a vehicle segment or a vehicle form factor. It represents really like an orientation around saying yes to things that are, that scare you, saying yes to new ideas, and to be able to stretch our brand, to stretch the definition of what is a Rivian into such a different form factor, something you don't expect with R3. We really were debating whether it should go R1 to R3, then back to R2. But we ultimately decided, as you see, the next thing we're building is R2 and then followed by R3. But it was so important to us to show the two of them together because it really represents the future of the company in terms of scale, in terms of having a much larger number of people that can afford our products. And R3 is like at a deep, special place in my heart because it wasn't a straight line to come up with what that was.
I just got home from the event. It was a long day, but it was so much fun. So let's kind of do a little recap. The R2, not obviously surprised because they were kind of teasing it. We kind of knew it was coming, but the little things, like the drop glass, the open windows in the back, having the front seats go down, the new steering wheel, things like that was, very interesting to hear about and just kind of cool to see. The R3, R3X, just came out of nowhere. I really am excited for what this means for the future of Rivian and for them as a company. I love them. I love what they believe in, and I love being a part of the community. And I'm excited for hopefully more consumers to be able to experience Rivian. It was also really great to sit down and chat with RJ. He's so down to earth and he's just so inspiring and cool, and it was really great to meet him and chat with him. We did post that video as a podcast, so be sure to check that out. I'll link it below. Make sure you guys subscribe. Hopefully in the near future or in the future I can get my hands on an R2, so that's my plan. So maybe that'll happen. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here, and yeah, I'll see you again later. Bye.